On March 13th, 2026, the Nashua Police Department arrested 36-year-old Drew Babcock on a felony warrant for first-degree assault, domestic violence, a Class A felony. Today, we are going to shed light on how this father lost control with his colicky baby, causing more than 30 fractures. Welcome to the light. Let's get into the details. On March 13th, 2026, the Nashua Police Department out of New Hampshire received a law enforcement notification letter from DCYF regarding a 3-month-old that had suffered serious injuries. Detectives from the Special Investigation Division were assigned to further investigate. During this investigation, detectives learned that Drew Babcock had caused these injuries to his 3-month-old son. Detectives applied for and were granted an arrest warrant for Babcock. Drew was charged with 8 counts of first-degree assault, domestic violence, Class A felonies. I have not yet been able to get my hands on the full probable cause statement. I have been trying to, but we do have details on this case. Authorities allege that the infant suffered approximately 30 fractures over a 2-month period, including breaks to both femurs and his clavicle, as well as other injuries that caused the child's lungs to fill with fluid. According to prosecutors, Drew said that the infant was a colicky baby and that the child's condition would cause Drew to lose his temper, which is how he allegedly began inflicting injuries on the boy, beginning when he was about 1 month old. He admitted that he did this because he lost control and would not stop crying, the Assistant County Attorney Melissa Farr reportedly said during Drew's initial hearing. In the probable cause affidavit, it was also said that Drew allegedly told his estranged wife, quote, "I think I did this," and admitted that he squeezed the infant to stop him from crying. Drew also said that he believed he, quote, "may have applied too much pressure, but he did not realize that he had broken the child's bones." He stated that he would use approximately 50% of his strength during this time. He admitted that he would conduct these maneuvers on the victim about 2 to 3 times a week. While prosecution was making arguments in his preliminary hearing, they described the allegations as nothing short of chilling, and they wanted Drew to be held without bail, citing the severity of the injuries and the vulnerability of the victim being only 3 months old. Naturally, of course, Drew's defense attorney did argue for bond, noting that Drew has had no prior criminal record and emphasizing his military background, telling the court, quote, "This is a man who is capable of following orders."
Babcock's defense attorney pointing to his cooperation as a reason he should be released on $10,000 bail.
What did he do? He didn't flee. He didn't take off. About within an hour and a half, he voluntarily went to the Nashua Police Department.
Babcock's attorney says upon release, he could stay with family away from the baby in Rhode Island.
The judge did ultimately order that Drew be held on preventative detention, meaning without bond, after reportedly determining that he posed a danger to the community. What does family have to say about this? Well, the injuries were initially discovered when a grandmother brought the child to the pediatrician for cold symptoms, and that's when it was found to have unexplained bruising and concerns about the infant's weight. That is where further medical evaluation revealed fractures and injuries in various stages of healing, suggesting recurring trauma. Again, the 3-month-old had 30 rib fractures, femur fractures in both legs, a clavicle fracture, fluid in the lungs, and numerous bruises on his forehead, neck, and jaw. That's a discovery that prompted the whole Special Investigations Divisions to take this case.
Doctors were also concerned for the child's weight after not gaining any since his February appointment, saying he was put in as a failure to thrive.
The child's mother told investigators the same day that the injuries were discovered that the infant, quote, always had bruising due to not vaccinating or providing supplements to him. So, and she said this in another comment that they didn't give him like the vitamins at birth. So this is why he bruised. And she didn't believe that the marks were alarming or suspicious, according to the affidavit. She also stated that the baby had been seen for 3 previous checkups and no concerns had been raised until the most recent visit. The affidavit also stated that the mother further told investigators that earlier that morning, Drew said that he, quote, needed to be honest and told her, "I think I did this to the baby." She said that Drew admitted to squeezing the baby to quiet him and feared he had used too much pressure, though he didn't believe he had broken any bones. She told detectives he said he would do the right thing and turn himself into police. A few other details that came out in this affidavit is that Drew allegedly described placing his body weight on the infant several times and admitted that he once punched the infant in the back to stop him from crying. At the end of the interview that he had with police, the affidavit stated that Drew wrote an apology letter addressed to his infant son. Now, this is often a tactic that sometimes police will use because it is an admission of guilt. You're getting them to confess to it, and they'll, disguise that as an apology letter, right? But you're writing down everything that you did in that apology letter. So he did do that. But just in case you ever wind up in a situation with authorities and they ask you to write an apology letter, they're asking you to write an admission of guilt. Just so you know. Drew was back in court this past Tuesday morning, and while he was there at his hearing, he waived his right to a probable cause hearing. We'll see when he is next in court, and I will make sure to follow this case. Now, the police department does urge anyone that might have information about this incident to contact their crime line at the following number, 603-589-1665. That will be posted in the description for reference. Here's what his family had to say about him as the media caught up to them outside of the courtroom.
I can't believe it. I can't see it.
He's a good father.
Do you believe these allegations?
Personally, no.
Family of Drew Babcock defending and supporting him in court today.
He's just a good man.
And here is commentary from his lawyer about the situation.
The defense says the child didn't receive a vitamin shot, so he bruises easily.
No, they're very serious allegations. He's presumed innocent, and I'm going to do everything I can to defend him.
Regarding the 3-month-old infant, all we know is that the police stated that the infant's injuries were serious, and they weren't giving an update on the child's current condition. They had implemented a safety plan for the couple's older child and for the injured infant, according to this affidavit. Another source said that it seems like they might have been given to the aunt for current custody situation, but it seems like obviously there's plans in place to make sure that they're safe and that the infant is being well taken care of at this time. Sure, you can imagine over 30 fractures on a 3-month-old infant is severe, and that is going to take a long time to recover. And I can't even imagine the amount of pain that poor child is in. Let me know your thoughts on this one below. And again, if anybody does have any information on this incident that you might be aware of, please make sure to contact that crime line phone number. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be kind to one another. Stay safe. Tap that follow button and that heart. And as always, I will see you all in the next one.